Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, June 17th. It is 6:27 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Got a few things here to update. All right, so let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, as people join in, I think YM is fine now. Yeah, YM is fine. All right, guys, so as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking liquidity over here. Down to the 8-hour. Down to the 4-hour. Onto the 30-minute. All right, guys, market is now open. Sorry. Running a little late today. Had some technical issues with the rollover. So guys, just a reminder, we rolled over contracts into September. So I kind of had to do some testing to make sure everything was fine. And the regular YM is back to normal. So you can probably use regular YM right now. As you guys can see from TradingView, it's lagging a little bit when it loads up the charts. That's why it took me so long to get out here. All right, so the first levels of liquidity right here got hit on open. This is opening price. Quick. All right. So on NinjaTrader and TraderBait, guys, you guys should be using the November contracts. I'm sorry, not November, September contracts. On TradingView, you can probably just use the YM because the YM is now updated. So you guys can see the first levels of liquidity right here got hit already. That's good right there. Looks good right there. Going over to our clean chart, let me just clean this up a little bit. Markup opening price. Let me fix that actually. No, it's good. All right, so I'm gonna go up to the 4-hour real quick. See if there's any structure here. Structure up there. Structure down here. Going down to the 1-hour. Structure right there. All right, looks good. So I'll come back to this clean chart a little later. The volatility is kind of low right now, so there's no rush. Make sure I'm on YM. Oops. Go back to YM here. Yeah, the zones are kind of far off. I don't know what's up with TradingView today. TradingView is a little laggy, guys. So just a heads up. Just make sure to look at your NinjaTrader, Tradeovate, whatever platform you're trading on. Make sure the candles are the same, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty similar. It's just a little laggy, as you guys can see here, with loading things up. Try to do another update here. Wouldn't really matter too much because there's nothing there to look at. All right, so got that marked up right there. Going back to regular YM, refresh. So there's no entries here yet. We got price climbing back up. This is fine. We're coming back from another holiday, I guess, not an off day holiday, but yesterday was Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to everyone here who's a father. Same thing happened with Mother's Day. So if you guys remember for Mother's Day, we didn't have a day off, but the day before was Mother's Day on the Sunday, and then the market kind of moved a little funky. So just be a little careful with you guys' entries here on open. Wait for the market to stabilize a little bit. Once it does, you can possibly look for some entries here. Looks like there may be a levels entry here that could be setting up right here at the 50 mark. I'm probably going to hold off on this one though. As I said, like you want to wait for the market here to stabilize a little bit because it's just spiking back and forth. So initially right here on open, price spiked down pre-market, and then it spiked right back up over here right after. This could be setting up for possible levels, but like I said, I'm probably going to hold off on this one here. And I'll see where this goes. So one thing that you guys want to keep in mind, if it doesn't fill within the first two candles like we looked at yesterday, probably want to skip it. But again, I'm not taking this entry right here, guys, because the movement. So you guys can see how price is kind of spiking back and forth. I don't want to get caught in any fake outs here. So I'll follow it. It's not filled yet, but price is pushing up to the next level of liquidity up here. So it looks like it just got filled right now. If anybody's taken the levels entry, it's probably going to hit. Now that I see it, it's probably going to hit because it's pushing towards the next level of liquidity up here. So we'll follow here. It's too late for me to enter. Nick already got in it, so nice work, Nick. Yeah, full TP right there. If you guys got the levels entry, great work. I wasn't able to get into that entry right there. I was kind of waiting for the market here to stabilize a little bit. But after seeing the liquidity up here, I had an idea that it was probably going to go and hit. So if you guys caught that, nice work. If you guys did it, again, it's completely fine. There's a breakout B3 here that is also active. See if I can maybe get into this. Again, it's too late for me. Sorry, guys. These entries are just coming up too quickly. And this candle here, I wasn't expecting it to close like this. But the breakout B3 actually happened right after right here for 10 points. It's two back-to-back entries right here that, I mean, pretty much just hit. The BB3 looks like it's still technically running right now. If anybody was looking to get into it or still kind of thinking about it, actually, I take that back. It like literally just tapped it. So both of the entries right here actually just tapped it. I didn't get into any of those entries, so none of them are going to account for my entries. But there's two entries here that came up like literally right after each other. This was a levels entry, price broke and closed past the level right here, the 50 mark, came back down for the retest, filled it right there, shot up. Looks like Nick caught it. A couple other people caught it as well. And then a breakout V3 that happened right here as well, continuation. The trend here wasn't really confirmed yet, so I don't think I would take that as a breakout V3 continuation. The trend here was close to confirming, but not quite. but the levels entry over here was, I mean, pretty much spot on. As you guys can see over here, I mean, the movement it's all over the place. This is why I opted not to take the initial entry, because it's just going back and forth. This is pretty much what happened back in May for Mother's Day. Same thing. Yesterday was Father's Day. As you guys can tell, it's just going back and forth. So obviously there's no clear direction here. So that's why I wouldn't be too keen on taking any entries here at the moment. This right here could be another levels entry off this one for a sell. But again, like I said, it's just a little too tricky right here, guys. I'm not going to take anything that's not worth the risk, right? So I'm going to hold off a little bit. If price comes back down here, possibly look for an entry down here. If price continues to go sideways, then I'll start looking for some possible CV entries. CV entries and V1 variations in the direction of the trend, of course. But at this very moment, the market here is moving a little crazy, like what CJ just said. So the movement's too crazy, so he's sitting. Yeah, same here. There's no need to force any trades right now. It's Monday, first day of the week, so we got a whole week ahead of us, guys. Just take your time, wait for the opportunity to present itself, and then take those entries. So back over here to the clean chart, I'm gonna mark up some structure now that we have some here. So we got structure up here. We got structure down here. All right, so you guys can see here, it's pretty clear. Price is just ranging between this middle area, right? So we'll continue watching it here, but realistically, price has established a huge range from this up area to this lower area right here. This is the current range of price. Opening price is down here, of course. And we'll see where this goes. All right, so price is breaking below. We'll see if this continues dropping further from where it's currently at. Sorry, guys, 1 second. All right, so yeah, looking at this here, guys, there is the thing that you want to be careful for is going to be the fake out below this low right here. So this is going to be the support level, as you guys can see. The thing that you want to be careful for, because price is going sideways, this is kind of what we got caught in last week, it's a fake out. So price might break below, but it might fake out and come right back up into the range. So I think for now, specifically, I'm going to be looking for some possible CV entries. I'll be looking for some CV into V1 entries because price is going sideways right now. And it's not really a good time to take any of these directional entries, at least not yet. So I will continue looking for any possible CV entries or V1 variations, any of the sideways type entries. Momentum pullback scalp, or sorry, no, high level momentum scalp. So basically there's 3 entries you can look for: V1 variations, CV entries, and high level momentum scalps. Those are probably gonna be the best entries right now at this very time, because of the current market movement. So there was a high level momentum scalp that came up right here on this big green candle. I don't think anybody took it, but there was a lower low. This green candle broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2, and obviously continued up higher. So that's a high level momentum scalp. And that's the type of entry to use during market conditions when market's going sideways like this. So I'll be looking for the same thing here. I'll be looking for some CV entries, some V1 variations, etc., to the downside, because we're currently in a downwards trend right here. So I'll be looking for price to push up, maybe give me a V1 variation, come back down. Right, reversal to the downside for correction. Otherwise, a lot of these other entries that we're looking to apply, it's going to be tricky because price is just going back and forth between the range right here. So just try your hardest not to get caught in the fake outs, guys. You guys can see whenever price gets close to these lower levels or upper levels, it's probably going to fake out. So when you guys are looking for an entry, just think twice before entering it. Make sure to do a full analysis. look out for any fake out. So if you do see an entry, double check it, make sure there's no possible fake outs. If there's a possible fake out, then I would probably just skip it. But if it's a clean entry, like say, for example, you get an entry down the middle, then it can probably still work. But, I'm going to be smart about these entries here, of course. Here is the clean levels chart. You guys can see right here, it's, the range is pretty obvious right here too, even on a clean chart. Here's our clean markup chart, clean levels chart. There's no PRB yet. There's no breakout V3 continuation yet, or any actual breakout V3 yet, I don't believe. There's no double body up here. No double body, no double wick. No double body, no double wick down here either. So there's no opportunities here for entry. So let's see. All right, so we'll keep looking over here. Yeah, Brian said higher time frames pinching, so we got some charging up. Possible directional move today or tomorrow. Yeah, I agree. So price is probably gonna keep going sideways for a bit. What you want to wait for is that directional push. Like Brian said, if you look on the higher time frames, it's going sideways on the 5-minute. It's going sideways on the 10-minute. You can see it a lot better here on the levels. There's just not really much movement here. This over here as well. Even on the 15-minute, price is going sideways between these two levels right here, the 950 and the 850. So it's got a 100-point range right here. Sorry guys, I'll be muting myself every so often to cough and to sneeze. I'm getting a cold. Unfortunately, had to be during summer, but I'm getting a cold. So I'm gonna keep, if you guys hear me mute myself for like a few seconds, it's because I'm coughing or I'm sneezing or something like that. You guys can kind of hear from my sinuses. My voice will probably sound a little different too. All right. Yeah, I know, CJ. The worst part about the summer cold is not because I got sick from like regular getting sick. It's because when I when I went to bed this week or the past 2 weeks, it's been so hot here. So I had my AC on and I had the fan blasting on me. And Cody likes to steal a blanket. So you guys have seen Cody the dog. He sleeps like in the middle of the bed. I have a huge bed, but he like wraps up in the blanket, so I couldn't get any blanket. So unfortunately, I got sick from that. Hopefully, it gets a little better. Should be. I've been sick for like 5 days now, so it should be going away in the next couple of days. Yeah, Cody's a punk. It's the worst. All right, guys, so we got the pushback to the upside right here. It's pushing up to the resistance. You want to be a little careful with this right here again, guys. Like I said, you can look for entries, but just be careful for the fake outs. So it's okay to look for entries, but just look out to see if there's any fake outs before you take any entries. Because before that, like before you get into your entry, you want to make sure that you're like 100% confident about it. Yeah, exactly. Nick said also this level's already been used. So you can't use this for levels entry, but I was calling it out for like a different type of entry, like a high-low scalp. So I know it's something that you guys like to look for as well. There's a higher high right here. Probably not a triple confluence because we have a buy signal here already. I think the only entry that could possibly come up would be a high-low scalp. But this high-low scalp here would be considered a possible fake out because a high-low scalp is happening at the resistance. Yeah, exactly. Next step's on a funky high-low scalp for sure. So there is a possible V1 variation pattern setting up right here, but the trend is shifting to the upside. So I wouldn't take that as a V1. I would only take V1s in the direction of the trend. So I'll continue to keep an eye out for entries, but again, like I said, there's just there's a lot to look out for. See, so CJ's asking, wasn't BB3 at 640? So there's no double body or double wick up here. CJ. So I don't think this right here would be considered the breakout V3 continue or breakout V3 or breakout V3 continuation. For one, it wouldn't be a continuation because the trend, I don't know if the trend here was really confirmed yet, but for the regular BB3, you'd have to have the double body or double wick. So it might have been a continuation, but because of the trend shift right here, I don't think I would consider that an entry. Also, I think the candle is just a little too big. All right, let's continue to look for any opportunities here. But again, like you said right here, as that being a continuation, CJ, look how it cut it into the support, right? So yeah, if you were to take that as a breakout V3 continuation, like you were saying, I would look out for the possible fake out. And the fake out's pretty clear here because it was right at the support. So for me personally, I wouldn't have taken it. It could have been a possible breakout V3 continuation. But again, if you guys see any entries that come up, like for example, if you see a high-low scalp, if you see, I mean, anything really, just make sure that you're not in an area of manipulation or reversal or fake out, right? The fake out areas that you want to be careful for are going to be support resistance, like this area up here. If you see any entries that happen around this area, be careful because price is going back and forth. So you don't really want to take any entries at this very point. Same with this lower end right here. When price comes down to here, if you get a sell entry, you want to be careful because this breakout V3 continuation that CJ mentioned, it happened right at the support. You want to be careful for that because this will probably bounce off and shoot back into the range. But you guys can see the range here. The range is super obvious. It's right down the middle right here. And if you go to the levels, it's even more obvious because it's rejecting directly off the whole number, off the 50 mark right there. So I think it's better that we have these clean charts. You guys can see things a lot better. The upper liquidity here has not gotten hit for a second touch yet. Had the first touch right there for a fake out. And again, right here, possible opportunity for a retest of it. Yeah, exactly, CJ. Just be careful for those support resistance. Like basically, before you take anything, look for any areas of manipulation, reversal, fake out. Tricky market right now, but it's not super tricky for us because we can see where to avoid, right? We have an idea here, like avoid trades up here, avoid trades down here. Rashida said prefer a PRB for a buy. Okay, so let's see. We have a trend shift right here. So this would be the first rejection because the trend shifted right here on this candle. So we got the first rejection right there. What you would be looking for next is you'd be looking for a space consolidation candle and then look for that retest. So yeah, there's a possible PRB at setting up right here that Rashid identified. So this right here would be 3 rejections off the pivots. You look for some space consolidation up here, retrace, bounce off, and continuation. So the PRB could be getting set up, but it's not ready yet. Looking over here at liquidity, the second touch happened right here finally, guys. And it went straight through. Looks like Rashida caught that. Nice work, Rashida. All right, so price is above the support. Again, look out for the possible fake out here again. So one of two things are going to happen here. Price is either going to climb up higher or it's going to fake out. So look for this here now. Price to push up. Possible levels entry up here at the 39,000 mark. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to set that up in my trade window. So I'm trying the sessions real quick, see where they're at. All right, so London high is up there, past levels. You see how far is it from there? It's gonna be tricky. Yeah, I don't know if I'll take the levels right there, guys. It's a little too tricky because of the yeah, the sessions right there. Thanks guys for the heads up. So I don't know if I'll be able to use that. All right, so again, check this out, guys. Look for the fake out. So like I said earlier, whenever price gets near the support resistance points, look out for the fake out. This could easily fake out, pull back into the range, come right back down. This could be a possible MPS, but again, it's in a fake out area, so probably would not mess with it. So if this closes right here, the MPS could happen at the 70 level right here. Did you guys see how the fake out here is happening? Yep, it's pulling right back into the range. Yep, did exactly what we anticipated. So this is why I keep warning you guys about. It's okay to look for entries, but just be careful that you're not trading in a fake out area or a manipulation area, because this is how a lot of people are getting screwed today. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are losing trades because of this specific reason. They see a push up and they try to chase it, and then it ends up coming right back down and stop them out. There's not really any surprise there. We've seen this play out over and over again. So moving forward, I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to categorize the day. So every day we trade, I'm going to categorize the day, whether I'm looking for directional entries or whether I'm looking for sideways entries. Today is probably going to be just sideways entries because you guys can see how the market's going sideways. I think that's a better way to have a bias in the market, not really to have a directional only look for buys or only look for sells. It's just to have a certain playbook for specific market conditions. Like right here, obviously you guys can see it's pretty obvious. You should only be looking for sideways strategies because I mean, just look at the fake outs here. There's so many areas to get faked out. Well, not really so many areas, but there's just like key areas to look out for. There's an area right here, area down here. This is what to look out for. And you can see price is climbing its way all the way back down. So I'll be looking for some possible CV entries as we continue to, just follow along. Yeah, other than that, it's not really be too much here for us to look out for here at the moment. And I'm going to try to keep it at a 1-to-1. So I know we've been using the negative risk reward, guys, but I'm going to try to keep it to 1-to-1. I might do like a 15-15 for everything, or maybe even a 10-15. I think having a tight stop loss is going to make the difference here. And I think in a situation like that, you can possibly even lower your contract size so that you can take more entries. I talked about that with Nick. Nick's been using 15-15 for all of his trades, and he's been doing pretty solid. So I think the 15-15 could be okay. I mean, depending on the current market volatility. Right now, the ATR is at 24. So I mean, the 15-15 might be a little too tight. Might want to use the 20-20 or even a 25-25. But like we said, it's a work in progress. We're going to like right now, the volatility is super high. This doesn't mean the volatility is going to be like this tomorrow. Volatility is actually really low on open, and then it just picked up right here. So we're going to continue to adapt with the market, use the same strategies, but again, we're going to try to focus on certain types of market conditions. So sideways market, of course, CB, V1, high low momentum scalp. Try to keep it at a 1-to-1 or something close to it. Finding that sweet spot is going to be kind of difficult because the market does change around a little bit. You don't want to have a TP stop loss that's too wide, and you don't want to have one that's too tight. Like for example, here the market's starting to die down a little bit. These candles are no longer moving like 20 points; they're moving like under 10 points. So we will continue to look for new opportunities here. But looking at the PRB, so the PRB is currently running right now, guys. Right here. This is a PRB that Rashida was looking at earlier. So we had the trend shift right here. We had the rejection off the pivots. Price came up, came back down, rejected off the pivot on this red candle right here. And that's where the PRB set up. I'm not in this position. I just marked it up for you guys to follow. But you guys can see this is what a 25-25 looks like. And it's actually, so it's currently at the sessions right now. So like what I was saying before, guys, you guys want to be careful with these areas of manipulation. So even though there's a PRB right there, you guys can see it's right at the sessions. This is an area of manipulation. So again, I wouldn't take a trade in this area. Areas to look out for would be any red flag. So sessions, news price. I didn't even check if there was news today. Let me check real quick. There's news at 5:30, and that's about it. So let me just mark that up real quick. It's high impact 5:30 over here. News price was right at where the sessions is. Impact news. Yeah, again, this whole area right here is just tricky. This area I wouldn't trade in because there's the sessions, there's news price. I didn't even mark an opening price here. Hold up, guys. All right, so the PRB is still technically running right now, but again, like I said, tricky area because of the sessions right there. It's just a little too tricky right now. Here's our clean chart. As you can see, price is obviously in between the sessions, or not the sessions, in between the range right now. No structure. Looking at the levels right here, not really too much going on. Let's see. There's a CD entry right here. I think someone mentioned it. There was a CD entry right here, but it's right at the session. So again, it's just not a good area to trade in right now, guys. Wouldn't mess with it. Okay, so back to what we were saying earlier, guys. The thing that you want to be careful for, it's okay to look for entries, but be careful for the sessions, be careful for news price, opening price, and the big things to be careful for would be the resistance and support. As you guys can see how the fake outs happen right here. So whenever trades get near these areas, I would just avoid it. It's okay to trade right here in between, as long as there's no red flags. But for the most part, for sure, avoid trades at the support level and at the resistance, because you guys can see how price can get faked out. Like even if you wanted to take a sell right here, you would have gotten faked out right here as well. Because if you took the sell, price would have pushed up, stopped you out, and then it would have came right back down. So the thing that you can look out for, if you guys really want to trade around these areas, look for the fake out and then look for the correction. So for example, here, see how price broke and closed past this area? You can have a sell stop right here, and then you can just write it back down. And then same with this right here, price broke below the support. You can have a buy stop right here, and when it pushes up, it'll just catch it and swing back up. I personally wouldn't trade that way because that's kind of like gambling. You're not really having a strategy in play. But if you really want to get into entries at those points, that's one thing that you guys can do. I've traded like that before. It does work, but a lot of times it doesn't work. It's always tricky. There's a CB entry over here that's setting up, but it's a little tricky. I wouldn't take it because the trend over here is starting to shift. I'm just looking for all the reasons not to take a trade, honestly, guys. There's a CB entry right here though that Nick mentioned, but you guys can see how the pivots here are crossing. That's why I wouldn't want to take it. Because it would have to be a clear trend for me. So instead of looking for entries here, I'm looking for reasons not to take certain entries. Yeah, exactly. Nick said sketchy day for sure. I agree. Like I'm only going to take a trade if I know for sure it's going to hit. And you guys can see all these fake outs happening all over the place. CJ said, I'm looking to sit my ass down right now so I don't blow my accounts. Yeah, exactly. Same here. I'm just sitting back, guys. I'm not really forcing any trades. I know some of you guys might be getting some FOMO here. You might be getting itchy to take a trade because it is Monday, but it's better to not risk than to get in a trade and not feel so great about it. So this technically is the CV that Nick was talking about. I mean, again, I wouldn't take it because you guys can see the trend here is shifting. If we got a CV like right here, right at the pivots, then okay, I'd maybe take it. If there was no red flag there. but because there was, I wouldn't have taken it at that point. But as you guys can see, it's pretty much a sideways market. It is a sideways market right here. Rashida said levels. I think this levels over here was already used, Rashida, so you probably have to look for the one down below at the 850 mark right here. Unless you're on the higher time frames. Yeah, the 5 minute looks messy. 5 minute looks super messy. There was a pre-market levels over here that came up though, if you guys saw that. Market's just way too messy right here, guys. So just be careful. I'll keep looking out for you guys. I mean, if you guys are looking for an entry, feel free to call out your entry. If you see something, let me know, and I'll let you know what I think about it. Because I'll give you reasons to maybe not take it if you're looking to take it. So if you see something there, you can see a V1 variation, a CV entry, anything like that, just call it out, and then I'll give you guys my analysis. If I think it's a good trade, I'll take it with you. But for the most part, I mean, this is just a messy market, as you guys can see. Here's our clean chart. You guys can see price is now back within the range. Well, I mean, it's been within the range, but it's just been sitting within this area the whole time. Back to our clean levels chart. So you guys can see price is having trouble getting past the 900 right here. Let's see, Max is asking, do you think a 10-10 TP stop loss is too tight? Yes, I think it's way too tight because the volatility right now is very high. The ATR is currently at 20. I think you'd probably, you would try to set your TP stop loss as close to the ATR as possible, because the ATR is going to show you what the average true range is right now. If you have a 10-10, it's going to be easy to get stopped out because this can easily just spike like 10 points in the opposite direction before your entry. And you can easily get stopped out. So I think even 15-15 might be a little too tight right now. But you guys can see from these current candles, they're barely moving. So this is a huge red flag. When you guys see candles like this that are starting to squeeze a little bit, this means that price is getting ready to break out in some direction. So you want to be careful with this here because this is going to go sideways for a bit. Eventually, it's just going to break out. You might get lucky, might get unlucky. But yeah, it'll go sideways and possibly break out. Yeah, CJ said, I hope it pushes it down so we're not near the sessions. I agree. Not the way I wanted to start the market, but I was kind of expecting this from last month, Mother's Day. Also, guys, a reminder, this is Juneteenth this week. Juneteenth is on Wednesday, so the markets are partially open. I'm probably not going to trade on Wednesday because it's just not worth the risk. If you guys remember, a couple of years back, I traded on Juneteenth, and I with FTMO, and I violated my account because that was like the first year Juneteenth was an actual holiday, like an actual national holiday, and it's just not worth the risk. Like trading on a holiday is either going to be low volatility or it's going to be high volatility. You're going to get caught in a trade. I don't even know if you can trade with Apex on Wednesday. So I would look at the fine print if you guys do decide to trade. But for me personally, I think trading during a holiday is it's just not worth it. It's not worth the risk. So that's another reason why this week is moving kind of weird. Yesterday was Father's Day, it was a holiday, and then we have another bigger holiday on Wednesday where the markets are technically partially closed. So they may be open for like a few hours, but it's gonna be tricky with how the market's gonna be moving on that day. See, the weird thing is that they don't even put the holiday here on my FX book. It should be there. I know it's on Forex Factory, or it should be at least. Yeah. You can see over here on the 19th, it's a US bank holiday all day. right, nothing here. This is another level setup. I mean, I wouldn't have taken it, but this is another level setup right here. Price broke below it. Retested it. Let's see how far it pushed down from here. Not there yet. I mean, it's already been used in the past, so you can't use it, but just using it as a guideline for the levels entry. Yeah, Sadie said it reminds me of the main market. Yeah, me too. There's not really too much going on here. This looks just like the main market. A lot of sideways movement. See if there's news tomorrow. There's a lot of news tomorrow, so I think the market's just not in full swing yet. You know, coming back from Father's Day yesterday, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are taking the day off. Um, so there's not really much direction here. So again, here we are back in the range. This is probably where market's going to sit for the rest of the day, or for the session at least. Yeah, exactly. Drew said then a huge candle, right? It'll sit here. So what I think will happen here is price will just continue to sit here. It'll break out, fake out again down here, come back up, fake out, come back down, etc. Just a repeat process. You guys can see that this middle area has been the range for a while now. So you can see over here, there's a lot of fake outs that have been happening. Like this whole area is just a bunch of fake outs. This is pre-market. So price just continues to fake out, but it looks like the real movement happens right here in the middle between 950 and 900. So this has been the range for the entire day. Just right down the middle. Yeah, still nothing here. Yeah, Drew said I wouldn't take the high-level momentum scalp if it comes out no power behind anything. Yeah, I agree with you too, Drew. There's no need for it, especially because it's probably not going to follow through. Yeah, Delicia said this market is not worth taking risk. I'm sitting out and will support the team. Yeah, same here, Delicia. I'm with you 100%. I'm doing the same thing. If you guys see any entries that you are looking at, just let me know. I'll analyze it for you. I'll let you know the pros and the cons of taking that entry. But this type of market that we're currently in, as you guys can see, I mean, it's a mess. Like you could like not even know how to read the market, and you can just see how much of a mess it is right here because it's just going back and forth. CJ said the official first day of summer is this week as well, so maybe this is what we have to look forward to until September. Possibly. That might be the case, and if it's the case, that's fine. We're going to adapt with the market. You know, like I said, we're going to approach each day as a either directional day or a sideways day. And that's how we'll have our bias in the market. So we'll know exactly what we'll be looking for what strategies to apply and what entries to focus on. because this right here obviously is a sideways market. As price continues to go back and forth between the support and resistance area. And there just hasn't even been any others. There hasn't been any sideways entries for us to take here. If I see something, I'll let you guys know. But of course, the trend here is just going back and forth. No clear trend, no clear direction. Not really much here to work with. One second, guys. I'll be right back. Or not be right back. I'm going to mute myself. Let's see. Jacob's asking, are you guys on September contract yet? Yeah. So the rollover happened today, or it happened on Friday, and the expiration happened. So we are on the September contract for NinjaTrader and for TraderMate. For TradingView, we're just using the YM continuous because we're on the new month already. So you can just use a continuous chart here. See, Max said he got his base hit for the day, thinking of just taking the rest of the day off and wait for a better price action tomorrow. Yeah, I would do the same thing, Max. So if you've taken your profits for the day already, I would probably just take it and I mean, you can continue watching the market because we're still pretty early. It's 7:13 right now. We still have like 40, 50 minutes until 8. So the market could start moving again. But at this very moment, it's probably best to just sit out and wait for the next opportunity to arise. All right, hold on, guys. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go blow my nose so I can breathe. It's killing me. So let me check the questions again real quick. Jacob's asking, no, YM1 is a continuous. The September contract is YMU. So if you go to the symbols here, it'll show you what all the contracts are. YM1 is continuous. That just goes through all the months. This was one that we were using last month, which was YMM. The one for this month is YMU. So they just changed the letter per contract. So YMM is June, YMU is September, YMZ is December, and YMH is March. And then again for June next year, it goes back to YMM. So we're currently on YMU. That is the contract for September. YM1 is continuous. This just, it follows through all the contracts. So it's just a continuous contract. It just overlaps. So like the reason why the contracts were different on Friday was because the contract was expiring for June. So now we're moving on to the September contract. Let's see. Rashida's asking 39,000 would be good for 10 points to be safe for levels. Let me see. I mean, personally, I wouldn't use the 900 mark because it's been bouncing around that level. So I think that'd be a key level. The key level right here is like 950 and 900. Because if you go over here to the, so I'll just keep this clean so that you guys can see the key levels. You guys can see how it's bouncing between this area and this area right here, right? This is where the fake outs happen. Price push up, fakes out, comes back down. Same with this over here. Price comes below it, fakes out, comes back up, right? So I think the levels that you would probably want to trade in would be the ones outside. So these two levels right here, I'd probably keep away from any entries around these areas because this is probably where you'll get faked out. If you're looking for an entry, I'd probably look for down here at the 850. Because at this point, so if price is to break out of this area and continue climbing or dropping, then I think you'd be in a safe spot because prices are probably going to continue coming down from here. Same with the opposite direction. I wouldn't take anything right here, but if price was to finally break out of this consolidation range area and comes above, then I would be more inclined to, okay, maybe take some buys up here, right? Because this area is tricky. Well, just this area in general right here. If the price pulls out of this area, the thing that you want to be most concerned with would be the fake out, right? Like this. This is like one of the nastiest fake outs for the day. Same with this one right here. Like if price was to break above here, you want to be careful because it could probably just fake out and come right back down. It doesn't necessarily have to push out from where it's currently at. It looks like the patterns are kind of repeating themselves. So this right here was a small fake out, and this right here was a big fake out, right? So this right here was a small fake out. And I think the next one will probably be a big fake out. So it'll probably come back down right here, push up a little bit, come back down, do a big fake out, and then come back into this area. So you kind of want to look at the charts and look at how the patterns are repeating themselves. Because the same thing happened right here. So you guys can see there was a small fake out, came back up, came back below, then the big fake out. Small fake out, big fake out. Small fake out, probably another big fake out. The charts typically tend to repeat themselves, especially if you're trading on a certain like specific time period. So if you're to just block this off right here in this area, you kind of see how things just kind of repeat themselves. It's kind of similar to what you were saying earlier with the head and shoulders, Rashida. It's like the head and shoulders is just a repeat of the pattern, right? Because you're looking for a shoulder, looking for a head, you're looking for a shoulder. So it's pretty much the repeat pattern. So it works the same way. It's just we're not really drawing head and shoulders here. Like this looks like it could be a possible head and shoulders as well. Shoulder, head, shoulder. So yeah, I don't typically trade patterns like that, but we still look at them as patterns because they tend to repeat themselves. I mean, it looks like this, if this starts to turn over right here, this could be that shoulder that you were looking for. And maybe that lines up with your analysis there for the levels, right? So, I mean, who knows? We could be wrong, we could be right. There's sometimes if you look at the charts too closely, you start to see patterns that aren't really there. You just like you're looking so hard to see something specific, and it just kind of tricks you to see that when it's not really happening. But we'll continue to analyze it in different ways, right? So if we see a head and shoulders that you're looking for, or we're looking for that lower level, I'll look at this clean chart, and I'll also look at this clean chart, and I'll also look at our main chart so that you can have a better understanding, like just an overall view of like what we're looking at here. Yeah, Rashida said I like 38,850 for sells and 3,900 for buys. Yeah, no, same here. I think those would that sounds about right. So that's exactly what I was looking at too, right? So this lower level right here for sells and this higher level here for buys. So if you don't find a trade during this live session, it's completely fine. You guys can keep trading after the live session, and that would be the key levels to look for. Because again, like these middle levels are just fake out points, right? There's not really much of a direction here. The price is moving super slow. So it's just I mean, there's not too much here to play around with. There's not even any new zones. I was gonna draw a new support resistance, but nothing there. Yeah, Jacob said sometimes when you take a loss, you go back and you're like, oh right, that was obviously because of that. Exactly, yeah. So there's like a million ways to identify and analyze the market, guys. So like if you guys have analysis, it's always fair to see some or listen to someone else's analysis so that you see it real time versus after, right? Because what happens is typically you'll take a trade and you'll lose it and you're like, okay, I could have done this differently. But realistically, it was perfectly fine. It was just you're seeing things from hindsight. So that's the same thing with me too. So like whenever I see an entry, I try to look for all of the reasons not to take it first before I get in because I don't want to make that mistake later when I'm like, oh, I should have avoided that because it was at support, or I should have avoided that because it was at resistance. When realistically, you could have seen that when it was actually happening. Yeah, exactly. Jacob said, yeah, the vision is so much clearer after the trade was taken. I agree 100%. So I'm here to help you guys out, guys. Like, even though there's no entries for me to take here right now because I don't like how the market's currently moving, I'll help you guys out with whatever analysis you guys need help with. Um, I mean, this price has been sitting around this middle area right here, which is not an area where we can trade anyways, because you guys can see how it's just stuck within the sessions, which is a red flag for us. And again, we're not looking for entries until price breaks out to the next levels up here, or of course down here. Let's see, Jacob said 38,970. I'd be looking for buys if we get out of that, or sell if we see a clean rejection. Let's see. See Jacob's levels over here at 38,970. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so Jacob's his line is a little closer to us here. For us, we're looking for the 900, so we're slightly above yours. Yeah, so that's what he's looking for right there. That would be the resistance level too. So I mean, for me personally, I'd be careful around this area because what will typically happen around here is price will push up to this point, fake out, come back into the range, right? So that's what I'd be careful for. What I would be looking for here is I'd look for price to break above this point, climb up here. I'll be looking for entries above this area right here because that's currently where the resistance is at, or the resistance is actually before that. It's right here. My bad. The resistance is actually at your is right below it. Yeah, so I'm looking at yours right here. Yours is basically, so this is your zone right there, right? Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing because I wouldn't take any trades around this area anyways, because this would be the fake out zone. So yeah, if you wanted to, so this is my resistance. It's a little lower than yours. Yours is like it incorporates the entire area, but this whole area, it's the same thing for us because this is my actual resistance, and then yours right here this is where the fake out happened earlier. So you're incorporating the whole zone, which is the same thing. We still wouldn't take any, like I wouldn't look for anything around this area, or if it does break above it, I would look for the fake out right here. So, this goes hand in hand with what I was just saying with me and Jacob. Like Jacob's looking at a wider view of the fake out reversal area. And we're focused on this here, but this doesn't mean that price can't fake out around here and come back down. So it works out the same way. So I'm glad that our analysis there lines up. And then on top of that, we have a 4-hour resistance up here too, Jacob. So it's kind of a tricky area because even if price does get above this here, like it gets above where we are looking for, this area up here is going to be the 4-hour resistance that I've marked up right here. So I mean, it's just a messy market in general to begin with. We'll keep looking for any possible opportunities here, but like I said, it's just I think you'd have to, well, whoever's looking for entries, you'd have to look for specific like little inconsistencies in the market because it's just a little like I would trade within the range. I wouldn't necessarily trade it out too far. Let's see. So Rashida said buy signal close on the 5, pending on the 10 is a good sign for a buy. Yeah. And I can see that too because we do have the trend here as well. Yeah, exactly. Jacob said, honestly, I love what I see. I see a bunch of rejections, literally just played off the zone. Yeah, no, same here. That's why I'm saying, like, so with those little bounces off the zones, that's where you would take your trades. You take your trades off the little inconsistencies off the zones. You're not going to trade out in the open because it's like the odds of you getting caught in a fake out are very likely. So, like, for example, here, this was another levels opportunity, not an opportunity, but it's kind of a level setup here where price broke past it, retested and came right back up, right? So in a normal market, we would take this as a level of entry. That would be a buy entry for us. But because this isn't a normal market and price is kind of going sideways, I wouldn't have taken this entry here. But typically, if market was going directional, this is the entry that we would look for. So I would be looking for the higher level up here at the 900 versus down here. All right. So we got price pushing up now. We're starting to get a little bit of some direction here. I think the MPS already came up over here. Yeah, so the MPS already came up over here earlier. I think we had a question about the MPS earlier. Let me scroll up real quick. Yeah, so Ishan is asking, hello, new here. And with your strat and the way you trade, I'm looking for an MPS entry. If the market continues down and breaks a small range, it's in. So yeah, if there was a trend here, a trend to the downside, then there would be an entry for an MPS. And then now that the trend has shifted to the upside, Ishan, there was actually a buy here for an MPS. The only problem is that it's right here at these red flags, which is the sessions. You can still take them if you want, but for the most part, I would have held off on it. There was a buy signal here. The trend shifted right here. So when this pulled down, the entry actually would have happened at the 30 mark. But because of the red flag, I wouldn't have taken the entry here. If you wanted to wait for it to push up higher, this would be another opportunity here as well. But again, it's the same reason for like us to be avoiding specific entries because of the current market direction, conditions, and volatility. But we'll see. Yeah, so Nick said there's a possible high-low scalp. I would keep away from this high-low scalp because that's a fake out area. I mean, if you guys want to take it, feel free. But for me personally, I would be avoiding it unless it's a triple confluence, then it'd be slightly different. Right, Natasha said she's done for the day. So we got some profits over here from Natasha. Natasha locked in 215 on her first account. Nice work right there, Natasha. We got Natasha's second account here, total profit of 345. Solid work right there. And then we have Max over here as well. Max at base hits today, request payout into accounts, won't trade until they're approved. Total profit of 200 per account. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts, so well over 1,000 for the day. Nice work, Max. All right, guys, solid profit so far. I haven't taken any official trades, so there's nothing on my end, at least not yet. But I will be looking for any opportunities here. Yeah, Sean said, sure, I agree with you not taking any trades as it's in its tight range. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I wouldn't take any trades until price is out of this range. This is another fake out, the same fake out I just warned you guys about. So like I said, the key price points to look out for here are going to be the 950 and the 900. Because you guys can see here how price fakes out, right? Price gets to the 950, it pushes up, fakes out just like it did right here. And then it pulls right back into the range. So again, price is back in the middle here, just like we were anticipating. Not really much here to work with. Yeah. So, I mean, it's okay, guys. Just keep that in mind. Today's Monday. I know Nick's a good guy. The good thing here is that you guys can see the opportunities here that are coming up, right? Like that's the key thing here too. There's a possible CV entry that's coming up right here that Nick has mentioned. I kind of don't like how there's a momentum on it though. No, this candle's a little too big. Yeah, I mean, it's a possible CV entry, but again, the candle's too big and it's an area that we just keep saying to be careful for, right? So this is a CV entry. If you guys are not familiar with it, it's a consolidation variation. Basically, it's a reversal pattern that we look for within the retracement. So price pushed up right here, it retraced down. This is a low with the red candle. This is a smaller candle here. Obviously I'm not gonna take the trade, but this here would be a CB entry that could have possibly set up, but again, I wouldn't take it because it's at this area where the fake outs happen, the 950 mark. Another thing that I would be looking for here that would kind of throw me off would be the opposite signal. And then on top of that, the candle here was kind of bouncing up pretty high. But I mean, nonetheless, this is a CB entry. I would only take CB entries in the direction of the trend. Let's see. Sean said, would the BB3 open strat be a valid trade to take today right after the 5th minute? You can take the BB3 like whenever you want. If you're taking the continuation, you can take it whenever. Like for example, this is a continuation. But I think for the actual breakout B3, let me see if there was any. I don't think there was a setup today. So you're looking for the double body rejection. There was nothing here, so there's no entry here for the BB3. There was nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. You know what? I think this could have been a possible. It's just kind of tricky. I can't tell with these candles here. So I probably would have skipped that one because you can't really tell from this low here if this was a green or red candle. Yeah, so I don't think there was any BB3s that came up yet. Technically, the BB3 could still show up, Sean. I don't think there's a cutoff for that yet. So the BB3 has still not came up yet. If you find so for example, if you see a double body, double wick, and then you have a BB3 that comes up, that's technically the BB3. It still hasn't came up yet. There are continuations that you could have taken though. So for example, here, this is a continuation. If you're trading for a buy, this could have been a small push up. And then this over here, I don't know if there was red flags around this area. Yeah, there was opening price. So you wouldn't have taken the sell here. For one, it was at support, and then for two, is at opening price. That's considered a red flag. Right here, another BB3 pattern, a continuation. This right here would be for a buy. This would push up. But nonetheless, there's still no BB3 that's come up yet. So no official BB3. You can take it for until it comes up. So basically the first setup that comes up, that would be the BB3. The only thing that has a cutoff would be the PRB. So the PRB over here would cut off at 7 o'clock. Obviously, we wouldn't have taken this trade because I gave my analysis earlier. It was at the sessions. But yeah, for the BB3, there's no cutoff. So you can kind of just wait if you wanted to. And then when it comes up eventually, you can take it. But for me, I typically don't trade after 8 o'clock. Let's see, David's asking, morning, Sean, is your trading view lagging? Mine is totally frozen. So it was lagging this morning, but it's moving okay now. I think it might depend on which symbol you're on. So make sure you're on YM1. Because I think you might be on the June one. Or the June one's still moving. So not sure exactly why yours is frozen. Yeah, the continuation is basically, so what I would do for the continuation, or what I typically do is I only take that in the direction of the trend. So if you want to look for a continuation, you could basically take that all day. The actual breakout V3, it happens once a day, but it hasn't came up yet. Let's see, Nick's mentioned might get a divergence up with pending momentum. Being that previous momentum was valid though, it makes it questionable. Yeah. Okay, guys, so here I'll just draw this. I'll draw zones above this area so that you guys can see. Okay, so if you guys look closely, This is where the range is happening. Everything outside this area are fake outs, of course. Fake out, fake out, fake out, and fake out, of course. So you guys can see there's not really much movement between this area. Again, like we were saying, I would stick to sideways strategies right now specifically, just because of how the market's currently moving. It's not really worth the risk. It's not really worth the not really worth the risk here. So let's see if there's anything else here that we can possibly look for. But again, like I said, there's as long as price stays within this range right here, there's not really going to be much for me to want to take because it's just not worth. You're probably just going to get stuck in the position. That's kind of what I see here. What's going to happen is if you guys take a trade, you're either going to get faked out, or luckily you might hit your TP, or you might just be stuck in a sideways move for the duration of your trade. So that's kind of what's happening right here. Like if you were to take any trades off these levels, like kind of what Jake was mentioning earlier, you can take bounces off the levels, but the problem with that is that sometimes price will just sit here and go sideways, depending on how big your TP stop loss is. I mean, if you're looking for a buy or a sell, you can technically hold on to it for a while. Like if you were to take something right here off the balance, doesn't look like volatility is really picking up very much. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything here. No CVs, no V1 variations. It's not really moving too smooth. Here's our clean chart with the markups for the support and the resistance. Said, I'm feeling so sleepy. Is it only me? Yeah, no, I think it's all of us right now. Well, there's not too much going on, so you can see over here. I mean, whether you want to look at the levels or whether you want to look at the support resistance, I mean, either way, you guys can see the support resistance is right here. Takeouts are happening outside of it, but really price just sitting in between this area. Even though price is sitting between this area, the volatility is very low. I mean, I'm looking for entries here, but there's just nothing here for me to really even look to take. Liquidity pretty much got hit on both sides. Next level liquidity was like way up here, but obviously that's not going to get hit right now. Levels below or down here, too far off. It's just the dead market. So the volatility is dying down quite a bit. As you guys can see from the ATR was actually at 25 earlier. It's now down to 16. So I think what's probably going to happen here is price will probably just continue to waver sideways. I don't think there's any news today. There's no catalyst really pushing price around. There is the 6-month bill auction at 8:30, 3-month bill auction, the Nova Crush report at 9. Fed Harker going to speak at 10, and then Fed Daily speaking later tonight. Otherwise, tomorrow we have high impact news pre-market. We have retail sales year over year, gas, autos, Redbook, etc. So we have a lot of sales data coming out tomorrow. Other than that, there's not really any breaking news. Like for example, over here, there's no breaking news from CNBC. Is the only news from today. So it says S&P 500 is little change to start the week as benchmark tries to build on records. So yeah, as you can see over here, there's no updates. Last update was at 7:36, and since then, there's nothing else that's happened here. All right. So I guess we can keep. All right. So price again is at the resistance point. Again, if you guys are looking for entries here, be careful for the fake outs because you guys can see the fake outs here are super obvious. Fake out right here, fake out right here. Price again is above it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another fake out right here and it pulls right back into the range, or price might continue climbing from this point. Due to the low volatility, I'm more, I would probably see a fake out more so. The volatility is so low, this will probably just consolidate here for a little bit and then eventually come back down. But it's not going to be a sharp fake out like these over here. Yeah, there's nothing really going on. So I guess what you could look for is a sharp candle. If you see a sharp candle to the downside, it'll probably come back down even further. But because the volatility here has kind of slowed down a bit, probably not. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's 7:44 right now, so we have about 15 minutes till 8. Not really expecting much to happen from now until then, so we'll probably be wrapping this up pretty soon. The ATR is at 16 right now, so the volatility is pretty low. And yeah, I'm not really expecting much to happen here. Price is currently at the resistance. We'll see if it fakes out. I probably just expect price to go sideways here. That's what I see happening here at most up until 8 o'clock. I'm not really expecting too much. Or if anything, pull back into the range. We're getting a sharp red candle right here. See if it's ready to pull back into the range. So market opened. I'm just curious to see how much movement we've had since market opened. So market opened right here. So we haven't really had much movement. So if you look over here, the full movement from market open has only been about 80 points. I was expecting a bit more, but it does look like we're cutting into these summer conditions. So if you guys ever traded with me during the summer, this is typically how the market moves during the summer. It moves really slow. So if this is the case, I mean, this is completely fine. We already know what to do with this type of market. We're going to focus on some V1 variations and CV entries. It doesn't really make a difference with how we're going to be trading. We'll still be trading the same. The only difference here is that we're going to be looking for more sideways entries versus the directional ones. So let's see if I can pull up the spreadsheet over here. So let's pull up the stats from 2023 in the summer. So 2023 summer, the entries we took were mostly liquidity pushes, SR rejection scalps. the 1 hour entries here that I don't typically use anymore, but and then you can see over here that we had a lot of MPS entries that came up. So we'll probably on some days or certain weeks or certain months, the market will kind of move directional. And if that's the case, we'll take some MPS entries. But yeah, it looks like comparing it to like last month, looks like it was a lot of liquidity push, or last year, it was a lot of liquidity pushes and momentum pullback scalps. Last summer was a little different. It was a little directional. So, I mean, this summer could be slightly different. It could be going sideways. It could be going directional. It's going to be hard to tell until we get the summer to full swing. Yeah, Brian said 4 summers ago, we take breakouts and stay taking hella continuations. Yeah, that was so 4 years ago. That was like COVID time, right? What year are we in? 2024. Yeah. So 2020, that was around COVID. That was when the volatility was like super high and the market was just climbing every day, even during the summer. Those were the good old days, right? When the volatility was high. We're back to traditional markets. So traditional markets, summer is usually the slow season. It's been like this for the past couple of years. This is just how the market moves during the summer. 2020 was a pretty crazy year, very volatile. I think this year might be a little volatile because of the elections. So once Trump starts campaigning hard, and Brian said they should bring COVID back. I think once Trump starts campaigning and they start having some actual debates going on, it'll make a difference. So I think this is, I mean, obviously we're going to hope for more volatility, but this is normal for the market conditions. You'll typically get like some movement on open and then it flattens out. So I think if this is the case, we should be focusing on our entries on open, right? Maybe the first 30 minutes of market, which is fine with me. So for example, over here between 6:30 and 7, this is where the most volatility happens. So I think our main focus, we should be pretty focused and dialed in first 30 minutes, because you can see after that happens, the market starts to flatten out and there's just not really much to work with here. So, all right, guys, it's getting close to 8 o'clock. It's about 10 minutes till 7:50 right now. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. So one question on here from Randy. Randy's asking, can I remember how to change to electronic trading hours? You would be down here. So if you click right here where it says ETH, Randy, so go to your trading view, go down to the bottom. It'll say ETH or RTH. RTH is regular trading hours and electronic trading hours is ETH. And that's where you would set it up. See, there's a high-low scalp that just came up right here that Nick mentioned. Again, the volatility is extremely low. The volatility is now at 13 ATR. So if you guys want to take it, feel free. I'm not going to take it, of course. The volatility is just way too low. I mean, you could even do a 15-15 right here. Typically, we're doing the 15-15 for the one-to-ones, but the 15-15 is a little far out. You probably have to go for 10-15 because the volatility is too low. Yeah, Nick said he's done for the day. I am too. I haven't taken any trades, so unfortunately, this is just kind of a wrap it up for the day. No losses, so that's a good thing. But yeah, today's market was it's just a feeler for us. So don't worry, guys. Today's Monday. We have tomorrow trade, so this is just a feeler to see how the market's moving for the rest of the week. If this continues to be the case where it goes sideways, we'll just focus on sideways strategies. And if the market picks up and goes directional, we'll go back to our levels and MPS entries. I mean, the MPS is still hitting. I don't know if anybody caught the MPS over here. There was an MPS that happened right here. There was a buy signal. This candle retraced back. Never mind, take that back. This wasn't an MPS. There's still no MPS here because the entry would have to be above the momentum. So price pushed up, retraced too low, no MPS, retraced too low right here, no MPS. And there's still opportunity here for a possible MPS if the volatility picks up, but the ATR is too low, so probably not. The ATR has to be at least 15 for the MPS to come up. So, all right, guys, unfortunately, today was just one of those days. It's a feeler day for us, so we know how the market is currently moving. As you guys can see over here, this is going to show you that the market is pretty much just ranging sideways. sideways. Again, price is above the resistance. You want to be careful for it here. The fake out, one of two things will happen. Price will either fake out, come back into the range, or price will continue climbing here. And if it does, you want to look out for that next level, right? So you want to look out for that next level over here for some more opportunities. So, I mean, price can continue climbing, but you want to be careful again here because when you push up, you'll get into the 4-hour resistance. And on top of that, you also have the sessions up here. You got the London high and the New York high up here. So, all right, guys, if you guys have more profits posted up, feel free to send them in. We've had a couple of profits here posted up, but other than that, I think we're going to wrap it up for the day. So if you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, we'll be back here, same place, same time tomorrow as we continue on with this trading week. So, all right, guys, if you guys